What's going on, everybody? This is Twin Flames Unite. We are back at it again. And if you don't know already, I'm Chris.
And I'm Leisha.
What
up?
And today we are going to be touching on a topic that a lot of people have been talking about and want a little bit more insight on it. So we're going to give it to y'all right from, well, I wouldn't say from source, but from our opinion. Okay? And today we're going to be talking about the runner and the chaser.
Yes.
And if you all have seen before that we've done a video on this previously, well, we're going to revisit this to give a little bit more insight as to what's going on.
Yep.
And kind of like what we did on our last video where I asked Leisha some questions, now she's going to be quizzing me. And I'm pretty smart too.
All right, Mr. Christopher. Okay, so the first question, and these are questions that are actually coming in from some of our followers on Instagram. This one lady in particular, she wanted to know what is going on during the run and the chaser phase. Like, what's the whole scenario about? And you wanna answer that one first before you answer the other?
Yeah. And during the runner and the chaser phase, this is something that we've covered before, and pretty much what's happening is that when twin flames meet, once again, we've said before, like the feelings that most twins have when they see each other, they're really intense, and they can confuse people and throw them off, and they don't know exactly how to take it.
Yes.
And as a result of that, one divine energy runs while the other divine energy chases. Okay? And this is really going on because for one, there's an imbalance between the individual on their feminine and their masculine energies.
Yes.
Okay? And when you have that imbalance, it causes turmoil, people run, people chase. That's what's going on.
Yes.
And a lot of you all are experiencing this right now as far as the separation phase. And like I said in previous videos, this is a phase that does pass, but there are some things that you have to go through in order to get to the other side.
Right. And I just wanted to add something to that. When you're dealing with the runner and chaser phase, it's actually fear-based. That's where the root of the issue is. It's fear-based, and also people running off of their ego. So it's allowing your ego to really take over you and letting fear guide you instead of love.
Right.
So those are the root causes for the runner and the chaser phase.
Yes. So true.
Yeah, just wanted to add that in.
See, we're both smart. She's so smart, y'all. So
I'm alright. All right. So that would actually lead us into the other question that I have, and
Okay.
this one, I know a lot of people have this where it's actually the situation has actually flipped. So now, what happens when it switches? When the runner now becomes a chaser?
Okay. Well, in this particular scenario, coming from personal experience and seeing other people go through the same situation, a lot of times when people start searching, well, excuse me, let me back up. When people realize that they have a twin flame, to some point they understand that this is a spiritual connection, and they start doing work on themselves. And once you start doing work on yourself, then at some point you actually end up switching roles. And that's because, think about it like a seesaw, okay? On one end you have one that's kind of spiritual, and then you have one on the other side that's really spiritual, okay? And on this side, this person may be really spiritual, but then when they start to change, then it becomes a little bit lighter, and this side becomes heavier, or vice versa. Y'all get what I'm saying? You know, seesaw. We surfing out here. But what happens is that there's just a switch in the level of consciousness.
Yes.
Okay? And it goes back to what I said in the beginning. The real reason why this whole runner and chaser phase is happening, because there's an imbalance in the individual for the masculine and the feminine. But you have to understand, with twin flames, And I have to make a correction on something I said on the previous video. Twin flames are actually one soul that was split from the beginning that went out separate ways. And then they incarnate on this lifetime or other lifetimes together. Now, in order for those two to come back together, they have to become whole, which means that they are the full embodiment of female energy and masculine energy. And when those two come together completely whole, then their souls can come back together and actually sync with one another
in harmony, and have that harmonious union. Yeah,
yes,
that is quite correct. So that's good, Chris. You did good.
I did good, y'all.
You did good. All right. So now, next question. What is the purpose of this phase?
The purpose of the runner and chaser phase, if you kind of think about it, when you go through this phase, you have a lot of questions that go on in your head. Like, for example, you may think, like, is there something wrong with me? Or am I good enough or anything like this? Like, a lot of questions start going off in your head. And whenever these questions start to arise, what is actually causing you to do, or what is actually triggering, is for you to start doing your own self-work. Because if it's something that hits a nerve to you, or you all actually can't come into connection, that means that once again there's an imbalance that's going on, and it triggers you to start working on yourself to really become whole. So that's the whole purpose of it, is to really do a lot of soul work, meditation is the key, is one of the things to really coming back to being whole.
Yeah, so it's all about self-development, pulling out all those aspects of yourself that's been just laying dormant for a long time, that you, maybe some shadow work, things that you try to sweep under the rug.
Yep. Yeah,
things that you don't like about yourself. It's causing you to bring that to the surface so you can actually face it and deal with it.
Yes. And that's why this is why this phase is so hard, because when it comes to working on yourself, there are certain aspects of ourselves, myself included, that I don't want anything to do with. But in order to really become balanced, you have to go within and deal with those things that are not so pleasant, to really be able to embrace that side and have the humbleness to know that you have this dark side and you have this light side, but you choose which direction you want to go.
Exactly. Exercise the power of free will. That's awesome. You're kind of smart too.
Yeah, it was a download.
Oh, downloaded these streets. All right. So the next question is, everybody want to know, how do I get out of this phase?
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna come in close. And before I give y'all the secret on how to get out of this phase, I want you to first understand one thing. And what I'm about to share contradicts a lot of what society says and a lot of what religious beliefs say.
We're gonna light some sage on this.
We're gonna light some sage. Everything begins with the female energy. Everything. In our last video, we talked about how when Leisha started working on herself, it actually triggered me to work through my stuff. And before this stage, before we got into Yu, we went through some really dark times, some really painful emotions, some painful situations. Before we got to this point, believe me, we were not an overnight success when it came to twin flames. Okay, so the first thing before you can actually come out of this phase is understanding that the female energy is the major key, because the female energy creates the path in order for the male energy to enter. I mean, think about it naturally. In order for me to come into this world, a male, I had to come through my mother. And we're talking about on a physical aspect. And as within, so without.
That's a above, so below.
It's the same thing when it comes to spiritual. So in order for me to get to the point to open up spiritually and remove all of the programs that have been put into our subconscious, Leisha had to go through and do her work first. So she had to set the path for me to go on in order for me to open up spiritually. And going through that whole point of doing all of the work that we did, and believe me, y'all, it was a lot of work.
Yeah. Somebody told us one time, they were like, it's easy for y'all to say because y'all are in union.
Oh.
Like, not knowing that we had our fair share. Like, we had to do a lot of self-work.
Bees.
Yeah, a little bit of nature right here. Bricks, but it's a lot of trees around us.
Yeah. But yeah, it was a...
Yeah.
Like I said, it wasn't an overnight success. What you all are seeing with Leisha and I is the product of going through
And
some
doing
very
work.
dark periods.
Yeah, doing our own work, healing ourselves. You know, you don't necessarily have to heal anyone. Everybody has the power within to heal themselves. You know, it's all about integrating your aspects of yourselves that you're not so proud of, and the ones that you're super proud of. It's just integrating both aspects of yourself so that when you do see yourself in someone else, aka your twin flame, it's not going to trigger you to run.
Right. Yeah.
Because you'll be able to embrace it because you already embrace it within your own self.
Yeah. And so you got the first point as far as the female energy. And once again, the female energy can be a male or it can be a female. It's whoever has the most dominant female energy, but once again, have been able to balance the two. Okay?
Yes.
And so in order to get out of this phase, the female energy has to become whole by themselves. And the reason for the separation is for you to become balanced on your own. Because we had an experience the other day when we went out to the pool, right? And Leisha's daughter thought it was funny to jump on my back while I was swimming. And we were on the deep end. Like 13 feet, right? And I'm a good swimmer, but I'm not good enough to hold up anybody else. And so in order for me to actually become stronger, I had to learn how to swim by myself first, build up my own strength so that if it ever came to a point where I need to go and rescue somebody, then I can actually go out and do so. Now, please don't confuse this with the part that if you think that you can actually become whole by yourself, that you can go and save your twin. You can go there and support your twin, but there are still lessons that your twin has to learn that you can't learn for them.
Right, just like you can't use the bathroom for somebody.
No, you can't.
Even though you might want to.
No.
Yeah.
You can help get them to the toilet. You know?
You just have to go all in.
I had to go there. But yeah, you can help them get to it, but you can't help them do it.
Right.
So you can be there to support your twin once you've been able to fully come into your greatness, and also understand that Leisha and I haven't gotten fully to enlightenment. We've just gotten to the point to where we have raised our consciousness that whenever there's a disagreement between us two, that we can sit back and think, is that something in me that I need to fix? You know,
where is it coming from?
Yeah.
Like, we analyze it, we're more analytical about it, and we're able to use our energies to dissolve it and to let it strengthen us instead of having it tear us apart.
Yeah.
And we actually get stronger each time. So it's just all about being that alchemist.
Yes.
Learning to turn that situation to serve your greater good.
So during this runner and chaser phase, the way to get out of it is for the female energy to do her work or his work to really balance out the feminine and masculine energy
within themselves.
So there's no way around it. There's no way above it. It's all going through it.
Right. Look at you.
So, wow. You got any other questions for me?
I think that's it. I think you covered the questions that we had. That was pretty good, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you for your knowledge.
Okay. So, I like to hear from y'all. How do I do?
What do y'all think, guys?
Yeah,
I think he did pretty good. Like, he answered some good questions, gave some good insights.
So if this information has been helpful for you, go ahead and give us that thumbs up.
That's a thumbs up.
Let us know that this information was helpful. Yes. And if you would like for us to cover more videos, definitely hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. So once again, that lets us know that the information that we're putting out is actually helpful.
Yes.
Okay? And definitely leave your comments on any type of questions that you all may have. And don't forget about our Patreon account. And we're out here. We love y'all. Once again, we are out of the matrix so that we can help y'all. Okay?
Kiki, do you love me? Sorry, you don't like that.
This ain't gonna Kiki, so. But that's what we have for today. Hopefully this information has been helpful. Once again, we are Twin Flames Unite. Chris
and Alicia. Peace out.